welcome to our weekly virtual wine tasting. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this beautiful day out. It's so nice on my drive over. I was just looking at the hills and the sky. It's so pretty.
Wine country is gorgeous. Oregon wine country is gorgeous. Yeah. We're pretty fortunate to work in such a beautiful area.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Especially this time of year. I just love it.
The commute of an hour feels like, oh, it's an hour, and you're like, yeah, but it's gorgeous.
It really is.
I used to commute an hour from the F train in Brooklyn to Midtown. It's not as pretty as this commute. Different, fun,
yes.
but not nearly as.
And the people watching is probably
people
great.
watching was excellent. The hustle and bustle was excellent, but you don't see like eagles flying over you.
Oh, yeah, I did. I saw a hawk getting attacked by two little birds. And I was just like, looking over at us driving. It was so nice.
Yeah. Well, welcome and thank you for joining us for another installment of Continuing Community Through Technology. And I know I said I was going to stop plugging this, but again, last month we were on the cover of Oregon Wine Press, and I'm still really stoked about it.
It's too exciting to
not mention. Yeah. Flash to like a year from now, I'm going to be like, hey guys! Hopefully something even more exciting has happened.
Ooh, yes.
Who knows what that could be.
Looking forward to it.
So what are we tasting today, Sarah?
Today we are tasting our 2013 Pinot Noir from Zenith Vineyard, which is in the Eola-Amity Hills, AVA. So on your way towards Salem.
From here towards Salem, yeah.
Which is another very pretty drive.
Yeah. Highway 221. I love Wallace Road, Highway 221. There's actually a spot on that highway that compelled me to move back to Oregon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when you start to leave the city, and on the left-hand side there are some oak trees that are in farmland, and the vineyards are in the back.
Oh, so pretty.
Yeah. I actually rolled down my window and got the fresh air and was like, why am I living in the city? Oregon it is. Like that spot on that highway, that moment is really memorable. It's a very beautiful and also excellent AVA to grow wine in. So here's the label before we get into it. So Zenith Vineyard is located in Eola-Amity Hills AVA, which is very popular. It's known most recently because a lot of international and California wine brands came into the area and said, this is the place, this is where we're going to buy up vineyards and start our brands, which was really awesome because they noticed that the microclimate and that spot, that sense of place is very pronounced in wines, very pronounced in Pinot Noir. The Ramies own and operate it. It is a large vineyard in size of 75 plus acres, one of the largest brands we work with, but it is family owned and operated. The proprietor and owner actually delivers the grapes personally to us every year, which is really cool. It just shows their attention to detail, and the quality is unmatched. It's one vineyard that I never even worry about looking at the grapes. I'm like, yeah, it's good, it's done, it's excellent. Their vineyard manager does a phenomenal job with the facility.
So do you remember this vintage? So the 2013 had the typhoon that touched down, but were they outside of that area?
They were moderately outside of it, but we actually did wait and harvest after the rain.
Oh, okay.
We did a comparative tasting the following year of all of the winemakers that purchased fruit from their vineyard that year. And while there were different expressions of the Pinot Noir from their site, there's always a large variance of that. They have 11 different soil types on their one vineyard in very different elevations, and all of the vines are very different ages. And so while we were sitting down and comparing, who picked before the rain and is their wine better, we didn't feel that that was apparent at all.
Okay.
When we did a technical tasting of it. So we did wait until after the rain, but I think it didn't affect anything in the quality and boldness of the wine. This is still a bold Pinot. Of our lineup of single vineyards that we source from, the Zenith tends to be more robust. It has really big fruit, it's bright, and it also has this savory minerality that you can only find in the Eola-Amity Hills AVA. In the afternoons, the Van Duzer corridor brings salty coastal wind into the vineyard every afternoon during the summer like clockwork. So the grapes are cooled down daily by coastal air, and so you get this really nice flavor development of ripeness and also subtle undertones of herbal fruits or herbal notes and subtle fruits and savoriness.
Yeah, I was noticing it's very earthy, kind of smoky. But then I get a little like raspberry or bramble.
Yes. There's always a lot of like prominent juicy fruit. I believe this is 777 clone, which is known for having kind of bold color, bold tannins, juicy, compact. And this is a Pinot that definitely, over time, is going to change dramatically as you're enjoying it in the glass.
Yes. I've noticed just since we poured our little splash before, now it's like a little bit more fruit has come out.
Yes.
I even get a little blueberry as well.
Oh, absolutely, blueberry. So there's a lot of, there's some undertones of baking spice. There's a lot of really nice herbal tones that are rosemary and sage, kind of the freshness, the fresh herbs that you want to cook with.
That's our go-to, always rosemary on everything.
Well, I think that's one thing we've brought up in this tasting quite a bit is we have that in the valley and everyone grows it outside. It's everywhere.
It grows so well.
It's so well, and you can just grab a fresh sprig and liven up any dish very, very easily.
So what are your favorite pairings with this?
So we've been sourcing from this vineyard for over 10 years now, which is really awesome. I love the longevity of that relationship. And in 2012, we worked with a gentleman who selected a few different wines to take to Macau and try to establish distribution internationally. One of our collective efforts in doing that was entering our Zenith vineyard Pinot Noir from the 2009 vintage in an international wine competition. And it received a gold medal, and one of their chefs at a casino in Macau did a pairing, a celebratory pairing with that wine when they had a conclusion with all their judges. And he did a roasted duck taco, and it was one of the best recipes ever. And so we did it for a wine club event, which was so fun. And especially if you slow roast duck, you get this really nice kind of flavor, but it's still moist, and just, it was delicious.
I never made duck before, so I'd love to try that recipe.
Yeah. Well, it's something I never want to do again, because slow roasting 25 ducks and doing all of the piecework of getting the meat. I mean, ducks do not have that much meat.
Right.
So
they're a little intimidating to me.
Yeah.
I love eating it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super tedious.
Yeah.
Yeah. But really delicious. And we did a like a cranberry based reduction as the sauce.
That would go really well with this.
Yeah. So it had that kind of tartness to it that was really complimentary. So that's one of my favorite recipes that I've ever tried one of our Zenith Vineyard Pinot Noirs with, but I love having it with a entree that's really bold, something prominent, because it's a very bold wine, so it matches that really nicely.
Yeah. We made the other night, we were doing homemade mac and cheese, and we made made this sauce with a Monterey Jack cheese, and then used truffle salt. So it was like a truffle mac and cheese, but I feel like the earthiness of this one
would go perfect with
Yes.
truffle. Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah, we had a little bit of white wine, so there's a lot of milk in the sauce, and then a little white wine in the cheese sauce, and then truffle. It was delicious.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we made a roasted chicken to go along with that. And I don't know if I've said this before, but Josh loves to use his sous vide. My mom and dad got him one for Christmas a few years ago.
Nice.
And he uses it so much. Like that one, he broke because he used it so much. And so
How do you break a sous vide?
I don't know. He used it. He uses it multiple times a week. But yeah, he got a new one, and yeah, he just put the whole chicken in there, and I think maybe 2 hours of that, and then took it out to finish it in the oven, and it was perfect. It's like chicken you've never tasted before, because it's just so juicy and delicious.
Right, and that's something that can easily get dried out in the cooking process. So that sous vide aspect locks in all the moisture. That's awesome.
It feels like something's wrong.
Yeah.
This isn't like chicken
What?
I've had before, you know? But it's so good.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really fun to work with. So
Cool. Yeah, that sounds delicious. So you mentioned truffle and earthiness, and I'm thinking about mushroom risotto with truffle oil.
yes.
That's a really classic, excellent pairing with our Zenith vineyard Pinot Noirs because of that juxtaposition of the earthiness.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten around to making risotto yet. I have all the ingredients. I'm going to do it one of these days.
I personally found it a little tricky, but that's just me.
Yeah. You have to, it's kind of tedious.
Yeah.
Like keep adding and
Totally.
watching it.
Yep.
Make sure you don't overdo it.
Jim is the expert risotto maker in our house.
Yes.
I'm the expert risotto consumer.
Well, I love the one wine club party. My mom makes that recipe a lot. Is the mushroom caps stuffed with risotto.
Yes. Oh, those were so good.
Those are so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And we use the truffle oil in those too. I remember. Yeah. Yeah, truffle popcorn, any of that is a great pairing with
perfect
this.
pairing, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is a local family that makes Oregon truffle oil. They hand harvest all the truffles themselves and have an authentic way of extracting that flavor. It's actually the only one that's done in the States that I know of that is not synthetic. So we'll need to post a link to our video when we're done with this to direct you to their site, because I recommend that you buy some. We always have some on hand.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love that truffle oil. It's so good.
Yeah, so that's a must-have for anyone's kitchen, for sure.
We always have truffle oil and truffle salt on hand all the time.
Because there are always those things that you're like, this needs a little oomph. Where's that funky oomph?
Yes. So is there anything else you remember about the harvest?
For this particular year, I mean, it was a challenging year, but I recall the fruit still being excellent, and it made an excellent wine. And we did wait a little bit and harvest in October after that rain, but I don't think that affected the flavors in any way. Yeah.
Were you wearing Sophia?
Yes.
Yes,
I was wearing a child. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting actually you bring that up, because I was fortunate to have a interview session this week with the Oregon Wine Archive, which is an archive that's run by Linfield College, and they also work with the Oregon Wine Board, and their purpose is to archive stories that maybe aren't as common as everyone's experience in the Oregon wine industry, and it's all that I've known. So, you know, wearing a baby on me or being pregnant while I'm making wine is just what I know. And so when they were asking me those questions of like, well, how was that? And I'm like, it was impossible. What do you
I
expect?
can't imagine.
But it was really fun because it also prompted all of these really special stories that I thought about. And like, yeah, that was definitely a journey. But once that story gets released, we'll be excited to share that with you. It was a great time to think about, you know, yeah, we're making a product and we're making a product for consumption, but also building a brand for the next generation is really where my mind was always at during harvest. Yeah.
Yeah, I can barely do it with nothing. I can't imagine being pregnant or wearing a baby and still being able to do all that work and late at night and oh my gosh.
Don't get me started.
And then you have to put the baby to bed.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then you only sleep like 2 or 4 hours if you're nursing, like for real. And yeah, it actually minimized my tolerance for when my peers in the industry complain about their interns. And 1, they don't even touch their own grapes and do their own work, and 2, they don't have the baby attached to them. So I lost sympathy real fast for those personalities, which I think has been great to help me kind of survive and navigate in that world anyhow.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
But it's also been really special too because they love being around harvest. They get so excited.
Yeah.
The grapes are here, and it's like, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, cool. It's cool. But this was a great year, and I'm really pleased with the wine. And I think the vineyard itself every year brings something excellent to us. And again, what we talked about last week with Yamhill Vineyard, we have these partnerships with these family-owned and operated brands, and when they bring you something excellent, it's very easy to make a good wine out of something that already is delivered in prime quality. And so it just makes it so easy. It makes our job doable, really.
Well, I know I've had industry people in, and I poured this wine for them. They're always so complimentary. Because they know how difficult 2013 was.
Yeah.
And like not everyone had a wine that is like this wine.
Right. That's very true.
Yeah.
A lot of winemakers will say, oh no, we're not going to pour the 13 for you. If you were to go somewhere and inquire, do you have any on hand? They probably will be embarrassed about the quality of it and not want to pour it, which it's fine. It just means that you need to react more to the weather patterns. You need to understand what's happening and have a good skill set in developing a great wine. You can't just treat everything the exact same way every year because Mother Nature does not allow us that luxury. Yeah. Yeah, but it was also great to work with seasoned veterans who have an excellent vineyard, who know, hey, this rain came, hey, this problem is happening, and they react immediately to it. They are so hand-on and proactive in their vineyard that it's remarkable. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very fun one.
Yeah. So now it's kind of changed to some like powdered fruit on front. Like, what is the name of those old French, they're in a tin can, those candies?
Oh yes, I don't know.
They come in like lavender and raspberry?
Yeah, the little hard candies.
Yeah, oh, I wish I knew the name of those, but I'm getting like a really strong memory of those. And there's also some nice spice undertones. Some of the baking spice is now coming out, and a lot of that rich fruit has livened up and is just right there and ready.
Little, like I get a little more floral, like the lavender.
Floral, yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has totally changed since we first started.
That's the fun of wine, and what I think is the beauty and the magic of Pinot Noir itself, because it's always evolving, it's always ever present. There is a term that the French use. they say that Pinot Noir never forgets. So there are a lot of varietals that you can make wine with, and I'm talking about red wine right now, where if something goes wrong during the recipe, during the making of the wine, you can divert a flavor or a thing to go here or there. But Pinot Noir, you can't hide anything. You cannot cover up those off flavors. You cannot remove them. Wine is a breathing, living thing, and it's a connection of chemical compounds. So in Pinot Noir, once it's bound, it's there. And so I think that's really awesome that as it opens up, you catch all those flavors. Yeah. And that's also why the French call it the heartbreak grape, which I totally understand, because you have to do it correctly and you have to do it right, otherwise it's no good. It can go from excellent to no good very fast. The margin for that is very slim.
Can you tell that something's going south?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I do a lot of sensory preparation throughout the course of winemaking and developing my wine skills, but also prior to harvest. So during primary fermentation, which is my main role in the cellar, I would say, is being able to identify off flavors in the fermentation to prevent them staying in the wine. And it's kind of tricky because they're phenolics, they're things that pop out in the aromas of fermentation prior to getting lab results. So you can discover when a wine is going to be reductive, which means if the yeast are stressed, they actually, through their stress, emit an off flavor. And you only find that in the lab reports after that off flavor has existed and bound into the wine permanently. So if you have sensory analysis where you can find that before you catch it on a lab report 2 weeks later, because at that point, it's done,
right,
and you can't fix it. Well, in our style and philosophy of winemaking, it's done. We try to manipulate as minimal as possible. So, yeah, you have to figure out and study and smell those flavors and catch them ahead of time.
Yeah, we've used the kit.
Yes, I subjected Sarah to the Aroma Off Flavor Sensory Kit by the Aroma Academy. It's traumatizing.
So interesting.
It's traumatizing because you have to smell like TCA and Acetobacter and mold, and you have these swabs. But if you do
some
that
are like spicy. I'm like, oh, I don't know what is that weird spicy smell.
But it's sensory training, so that then you become really, really sensitive to those flavors. Where you could walk into a room and you could have 20 tanks, you could smell that it's tank 5. Like you get to that point where you become so in tune with those smells. But yeah, it's totally traumatizing because they're terrible. Yeah, like here's wet cardboard. Nobody wants to enjoy that. Nobody.
No.
So that's part of the journey, and I think it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing that you can do that. Just walk into like the winery and be able to tell like this tank is an issue.
But really, what it is years and years of obsessive nature about it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I can turn that into a skill set.
Yeah.
It's a positive career, but yeah, it really is just over time of knowing and learning those things and what to look for, and yeah. So what have you been up to this week?
I went on a really nice hike yesterday. I'm a little sore from that. In Forest Park, so it's opened up and
Nice.
yeah, it was really pretty.
Cool.
Got to see some of the rose bushes.
Oh yeah, those are popping, starting to now.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah, still working on the macrame.
Still cooking. That's awesome. Oh my god.
Getting
So
close.
Well, you've been here hosting guests
Yes.
a lot.
Yes, it's been nice.
Very busy, which
Yes.
is great.
What about you?
Still hiding in the greenhouse, doing that thing. I love it. It's Everything is kind of really coming to fruition, which has been a lot of fun. Like I said, on Tuesday I had that interview with Oregon Wine Archive, which was really exciting. For my jewelry line, I launched a new Pride collection, which I've been working on for about 5 months. So that was really fun to release. It is a accumulation of stones that represent the original Gilbert Baker Pride flag that was designed for Harvey Milk.
Oh.
So I'm a huge fan of Harvey Milk. So I was really excited to do that and to actually go, yeah, June 1st is when I launch it. And it also contains a new segment of jewelry, of body jewelry, and then it'll also be permanent throughout all of the collections on the website from this point on. So that's awesome. I've been excited about that. So a lot of work with that. The girls are busy. They're like, yay, it's summer! And I'm like, it's been summer for 2 months. What are you doing? Is this really new? Yeah, but it is cute and it's so fun. Yeah, I feel like it's been a little bit of a heavy week, but it's really exciting to see so many people mobilize for change, and I'm really stoked about that. And I'm really stoked that after this, we're going to go to a peaceful demonstration that's in a town neighboring us just in a couple minutes. So we're excited about the opportunity to do that. Yeah. Yeah, so that's great. And that's about it. I'm loving this weather. It looks like it's going to stay. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice and breezy, but just warm enough to hang out outside.
Outside on the patio. The patio is looking beautiful.
Yes.
We have a lot of new plants and a lot of bright color and beautiful water features. So it's a wonderful place to spend time. And we're still taking reservations.
Right.
Yeah, through this whole process, that's the best way that we can accommodate you to ensure that we have enough space so that we can be in compliance with health requirements and give better service through all those added steps.
Yeah, just let me know if you want a reservation.
Yeah. So Sarah's
Make it happen.
booking those in every way possible: phone, email. You can ping us through social media sites, and we'll get you situated and seated whenever you like. And we're doing a summer 6-pack feature.
Yes.
We cannot forget to talk about that.
3 of the 2014 Cuvée and 3 of the 2017 Pinot Gris. Yeah, and so that, or 2016 Pinot Gris, I'm sorry. And that's 30% off, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great 6-pack.
Yes.
Especially if you're having patio grill out time. Those are always great go-tos. And it looks like we're going to be able to announce a complimentary upgrade shipping feature. And we're going to email that out tomorrow. We like to send those on Friday mornings after the show. So if you're not on our email list but you want to find out information about that, just go to our website, and on the main page you can add your email address, and we'll send you information about our awesome 6-pack that's at 30% off with a complimentary shipping upgrade. Yeah. As it gets too hot, everything needs to be upgraded to air so that it doesn't cook. And yeah, we're able to give everyone a really good deal this time of year.
So exciting.
Yeah, we're excited about it. It's usually not doable. So, yeah. What else?
That's all.
Anything? Yeah, no, I think we're good.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us and for all your support. We really appreciate it.
We do. We love doing this and being able to connect with you, and we're going to continue. Sarah has a great schedule lined up of wines. We're going to do some Method Champagne Law, some library wines. We're going to continue doing this program. So, yeah. What do we have for next week?
Next week we are doing our 2016 Riesling.
Ooh, the Riesling. Yes.
Summer 6
It is. It's so good. Okay, that's
Yes.
exciting. Awesome.
All right. Thank you. Bye.